The Business Wednesday, let's do AM business now. The Ghana Statistical Service has no recent figures on the population of disabled, neither are there figures on the number of people employed. A deliberate effort made by government to facilitate employment opportunities has been scanty, with the recent one being some 195 people at the various toll booths. 55-year-old Joe Mensah with 6 children is worried and says government simply does not care.
Joe's shoe business started 34 years ago after he passed out from the Accra Rehabilitation Center, a center by government to provide physically challenged persons with employable skills. Joe, with the help of one philanthropist, started a shoemaking business. Though not easy, it grew to become a foundation for other persons with disability. More hope for the disabled. Through this foundation, Joe has trained some other 4 people who now work for him. Together with his wife, the 6 produce footwear for both men and women. Joe, just like every other entrepreneur, faces the challenge of ready markets. He explains that the influx of second-hand and other imported footwear on the market makes it hard for his designs to sell.
To give us, so we try to, maintain our quality production. So that makes ours a little bit costly than the China ones. So when the people compare, they prefer to buy the China one. You can wear it for 3 weeks and then. So for the patronage is very, very difficult for us. This ladies one costs 15 cedis per one. You can test one and see how it is. And the men's slippers cost 30 cedis. Today,
he's in the process of making 300 pairs of sandals. Thanks to an initiative by the Member of Parliament for the Lejokuku constituency, Benadoko Boy, his project to provide needy children with sandals for schools landed Joe this contract.
I wish every MP or every minister should look at the Dr. Okoboy's effort to emulate the same thing. Because we are not the only disabled in Ghana. I think every MP have the disabled in his community. They should also focus on him because Dr. Okoboy has done a tremendous, I don't know how to express the joy that he has given to us. You see, when you come, everybody is busy doing something. That is the humanity that we want everybody to be involved in nation building.
Joe is just one out of the over 5 million physically challenged in Ghana, according to the Human Rights Watch, struggling to make ends meet. Even though government has introduced some job creation programs, it is still not clear how many physically challenged persons are employed in Ghana.
In the last 2 or 3 days, you have heard that the administrator of the District Assembly Common Fund has also taken a bold initiative to get the actual numbers of people who are disabled in the various MMDs, the municipal metros and all that. So she has gone, even though it's not a kind of a scientific and accurate data, at least we have a first step, taking a first step towards getting all those people with disabilities, listed in every district. And if I can recall, about close to 30 million Ghana cedis being disbursed across the country.
The Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations is an organization set up by government to help advocate the needs of the physically challenged in Ghana.
The issue of giving toll booths for persons with disability to manage has been a long a long-term pursuance of the Federation. The minister promised to give 50%, and the 50% constituted 214 people at the toll booth. And so when this was announced, the Federation quickly followed it up. So we came to an agreement. So actually the Federation handled the identification of persons with disabilities. So in all, we submitted persons with disabilities who were interested in that job to the minister.
Through a call of support from the Federation, the Ministry of Roads and Highways extended its support by pledging employment opportunities to persons with disability at toll booths across the country.
Coming into this ministry, tying that into the MPP's manifesto promise, it was quite important for us. And for us, the most important was to see how we can get persons with disability to man these toll booths across the country. And we launched this program in July, and we started with some advertisement, and subsequently we engaged the Federation of Disability, and they put together their membership to apply for these opportunities. Most of the people that many will always think persons with disabilities do not probably have, are not, have a very low IQ was amazingly the opposite. You had many of them who had gone through university, they had gone through polytechnics, gone through technical education, gone through senior high school education, and they were quite fluent and capable.
Beatrice, however, explains that this intervention by the Roads and Highways Ministry is challenged as it is marred by partisan politics, which affects its smooth running.
The challenge was that there were some DCEs and some ministers who weren't in agreement, and some party vigilantes. They were not trying to cooperate for the placement. Some were saying they have their own people, and some too were saying that the persons with disabilities were not coming from their regions. But the truth was that we did the selection, not just GFD sitting and doing any selection. We have contacts in all the 216 districts. And so wherever there was vacancy, we charged the Federation leadership over there to circulate application forms.
Another support for the physically challenged facing problems is their share in the district assembly. Many laments they do not benefit from the 5% allocation from the fund.
So I'm thinking that the government should focus more and also think about how the disability fund is being used. It shouldn't say, for me, I have already given out the fund, so whatever they do, they will give it to them, because you are working with human beings. Not everybody have a good conscience. Somebody may not think about his neighbor. That is why money embezzlement has been plenty in the system. So we think the government should focus much on how the fund is being disbursed.
Joe, however, disagrees and says supporting trained skills is much more important.
Although when I started I finished the rehabilitation center, the government tried to give me one sewing machine and then a few 6 tools, 1 hammer, knife. So after I came back from that, after that, nothing has been, nobody even has come and see that. So the training you acquire, how are you applying? It has never come on my way like that. That is why I'm saying that the focus on the people with disability is a little bit poor. If we are trained and you don't think of how we will be maintaining what we have learned, but all the time you train us and leave us, whether what we are doing is bought or not. You don't care.
Persons with disability in Ghana still feel sidelined because people like Joe, who are making efforts to make ends meet, are not even getting support from government. Statistics to even show how many people or how many physically challenged persons are employed are not available. Present governments have all made it clear that begging on the streets as a source of income for the physically challenged will become history. But where then lies their fate if there are no preparations made for them? Government might be doing its best, but for the concerned parties, they believe that the efforts are but a drop in the ocean. Reporting for Joy Business, Karen Dodo.
And that's AM Business this Wednesday. I hope that you did enjoy every bit of that. It's brought to us by EcoBank. Stay with us. We have some great conversations coming up here on the AM Show.